Fairytales.
The Invisible Princess, a tale of courage and magic. Once upon a time, in a kingdom nestled amidst rolling hills and sparkling rivers, lived a princess named Anya. She was known for her kindness, her gentle smile, and her love for her people. But Anya held a secret that made her heart heavy. She was invisible. A cruel sorcerer, driven by envy and malice, had cast a spell upon her, making her vanish from sight. Anya could see the world around her, hear the laughter of children playing in the market square, and feel the warmth of the sun on her skin, but no one could see her. She was a ghost in her own kingdom. Anya's invisibility was a double-edged sword. It allowed her to move unseen, to listen to the whispers of her people, and to learn their hopes and fears. She used her hidden presence to protect them, to warn them of dangers, and to guide them in times of need. She became a silent guardian, a protector who watched over her kingdom from the shadows. But the loneliness of her invisibility gnawed at her soul. She longed to be seen, to feel the warmth of a hug, to share a laugh with her friends. She yearned to be a part of the world, not just a phantom flitting through it. One day, a shadow fell upon the kingdom. The sorcerer who had cursed Anya, a man named Malachi, returned, his eyes burning with a malevolent fire. He demanded that the king surrender the kingdom to him, threatening to unleash a terrible curse upon the land if he refused. The king, a kind but frail man, was terrified. He had no army to defend his kingdom, and he knew that Malachi's magic was powerful. Anya, hidden in the shadows of the throne room, listened to the sorcerer's threats. Her heart ached for her people, and a fierce determination ignited within her. She would not let Malachi destroy her home. She would find a way to break the curse and save her kingdom. Anya knew that Malachi's magic was powerful, but she also knew that he was arrogant and vain. She decided to use his weaknesses against him. She spent days observing him, learning his habits and his routines. She discovered that Malachi had a weakness, a fear of spiders. He believed that they were creatures of darkness and that they brought bad luck. Anya saw an opportunity. She would use this fear to her advantage. Anya found a large, hairy tarantula spider in the forest. She carefully picked it up and brought it back to the castle. She waited until Malachi was alone in his chambers. Then she slipped inside, her invisibility cloaking her movements. Malachi was pacing the floor, his face contorted in rage. Anya, unseen, crept behind him and gently placed the spider on his shoulder. Malachi screamed, his voice high-pitched and filled with terror. He jumped back, knocking over a table and sending books and papers flying. The spider, startled by the commotion, scurried away. Anya, still unseen, watched as Malachi frantically searched for the spider. He was trembling, his face pale with fear. He was a powerful sorcerer, but he was also a coward. Anya saw her chance. She used her invisibility to slip into the sorcerer's private library, where he kept his grimoire, a book containing all his magical spells. She knew that the book held the key to breaking the curse. Anya carefully opened the grimoire and began to search for the spell that would break the curse. She flipped through the pages, her eyes scanning the intricate symbols and ancient words. Finally, she found it. A spell to undo the curse of invisibility. Anya knew that she had to be careful. The spell was powerful and dangerous. If she didn't pronounce the words correctly, she could end up worse than invisible. She took a deep breath and began to recite the spell. The words flowed from her lips, echoing through the silent library. As she spoke, the air around her crackled with energy. A shimmering light began to surround her, and she felt a warmth spreading through her body. The invisibility was lifting. Anya could feel her body becoming solid again. Suddenly, Malachi burst into the library. He had found the spider and was now furious. He saw Anya standing there, her body no longer invisible. He raised his hand, ready to unleash his magic. But Anya was ready for him. She had learned a few spells of her own while she was invisible, and she knew that she could defeat him. She raised her hand and cast a spell of her own. A wave of energy surged from her hand, striking Malachi and sending him crashing to the floor. The spell had broken the curse, and Anya was finally visible again. Anya, now visible, walked towards Malachi, her eyes blazing with anger. She knew that he had caused her years of pain and loneliness, but she also knew that he was afraid. She had seen the fear in his eyes when he had encountered the spider. She decided to show him mercy. She used her magic to bind him, rendering him harmless. Then, she used her invisibility to sneak out of the castle and find the king. She told him everything that had happened, and she begged him to forgive Malachi. The king, surprised to see Anya, listened to her story with a mixture of shock and awe. He realized that Anya had saved his kingdom from a terrible fate. He agreed to forgive Malachi, but he banished him from the kingdom forever. Anya, finally visible, was greeted with cheers and applause from her people. They had heard stories of a mysterious protector, a silent guardian who had watched over them, but they had never known who it was. Now, they knew. Their princess, their invisible princess, had saved them. Anya, no longer invisible, embraced her people, feeling the warmth of their love and gratitude. She had finally found her place in the world, and she knew that she would never forget the lessons she had learned during her time as an invisible princess. She had learned that true courage comes from within, that even in the darkest of times, there is always hope, and that even the smallest of creatures can make a difference. And so, Anya, the invisible princess, became a legend, a story whispered from generation to generation, a reminder that even in the shadows, there is light, and that even the most hidden of hearts can shine the brightest.